Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mini Cactus Masterpiece number 16. So I've got a new piece of A3 watercolour paper here, which I only just got. So I've only managed to mask off one square. So the rest of it I need to do later on. But we've got a nice little cacti to draw here, cactus. So nice. To get it straight, because this is going to be a tall, thin cactus, we're just going to draw a line down the middle like this. Okay, and then we're going to do a tall, thin part. You can rub that line out once you've drawn it. Tall, thin, and this pot is going to have stripes on it. So you can put your stripes in if you want to, or you can just paint them in freehand. It's up to you. Okay, and then this one is going to be, so if you start at the top here and go out slightly, but then come down vertically, go out at the top, try and get it as symmetrical as you can. And then on the top, we're going to put a little flower, and we're also going to put some little cross prickles on this one. And we're going to put some lines because it's a ridged cactus. Okay, let's get painting. Because I'm late, I didn't decide on the colours for my pot, so I'm going to just make them up as I go along. I think I'm probably going to do this cacti yellow with some green stripes on it. So I'm going to look at sort of purples and reds maybe I'll do them all different shades of red. So I've got my alizarin crimson. I'm going to start with that at the top. Oh, actually, before you start, if you want to get rid of that central line, do it now, because you won't be able to paint over it. You won't be able to rub it out once you've painted it. So make sure you rub it out before you start painting. So I've got a dark red here, and I'm going to slowly lighten the red as it goes down the pot. I need a bit more water in my red. So it paints on. There we go, that's better. I haven't quite caught up this morning. I've had lots of jobs to do and had to speak to my parents in Lancashire, where they've had lots of snow. See if they're okay. And they are okay. So we've got alizarin crimson, and then we've got cadmium red, and the next colour I'm going to use is a cadmium red orange, they call it. It might be, if you've got different reds in your set to me, you can use them, or you can mix them. It's up to you. But you'll see that this is slightly more sitting on the orange side to the one above. It's quite interesting to put colours down side by side like this, because in a palette you can't really see the tone or the hue of the colour until you actually put it on the paper. Quite often in palettes you've got little guides to what the colour looks like once it's painted, rather than what it looks like in the set. And if it hasn't got a guide, then make one yourself. Just divide up a piece of paper into squares and paint your colours in. And if you don't know the names of them, they often have the names printed on the side of the little pans. For those who don't know, these little squares are called pans, and these ones that I've got here are half pan, what they call half pans, and you get double the size, which are called full pans, and obviously they cost more money. But most people have the half pan sets because they last forever. There's only certain colours that you need to rebuy. So at the bottom I'm going to finish with a little bit of the alizarin crimson. So when you buy a half pan, you can buy them individually, or you can buy them in sets like this. You'll see on the side of the packet, on the container, the little plastic container that it comes in, that it has the name. And they do get really dirty, as you can see in my palette. But if you clean them up, you can still see the name. So if you can't identify a colour, that's the way to do it. Or you can look online, and all the manufacturers, so like Winsor & Newton or Daler Rowney or whatever, they have colour charts for you to find out what colours, if you haven't got a name on the side of your pan. So I'm going to use with this, I'm going to use the yellow, and I haven't dried the red off, so it's a bit of a risk this, to paint it down to the red without drying it off. It might bleed a bit, but let's see. If I just paint it really carefully up to that edge, it should be okay. But otherwise, if you've got time, dry it off. And while that's drying, I'll just put a little cross. What colour should we have on the top? I think so that it balances with the pot. I think we'll put a little orange flower on this one. So on the top, just paint a little spiky flower. And again, I'm not that bothered if it bleeds into that yellow colour. It might look quite nice actually if it does. A little flower on the top like that. However, the crosses that we're going to put on here and the lines, I want to be able to see them. So I'm just going to quickly dry this off. Okay, nice fine paintbrush and some green pigment. Any green will do. And we're just going to put the lines in straight down the middle like that. And then as we work outwards, just go into a curve shape. I've got a big job to do tomorrow to look after my cacti. I've got some cacti in my greenhouse which are coping fairly reasonably with the weather, but I have to re-roof my greenhouse because I've got a few holes in. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be good, so my cacti will be warmer and hopefully survive the winter. Okay, so there we've got our stripes, and the last thing to do, and I know I'm on 10 minutes, is to just put some little crosses on. So I'm going to do it in Payne's Grey, but you can do them in a darker colour of your choice. It's up to you. Just make sure you get this mixture fairly thick. And then literally, oh, this brush is probably not the best. It's splitting on the ends. Let me just get a better brush. That one will do it. You need to make sure that your brushes come to a fine point so that you get your crosses nice. I know we're running over time, but just little crosses on the outside of your cacti, quite randomly. You don't have to do them in the same place every time, but just follow those lines and put them in along the lines. And that's it for today. I hope you all have a good weekend and go out and enjoy the weather. And if it's snowing, go and have a sledge or something. You can also put a little bit, I know we're running over time, just on some of the lines coming across, just a touch, just to solidify those bits. Okay, thanks for joining in. Don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.